my forehead on my forearm tiredly, as it placed on top of the toilet. Heavy breaths came out of my mouth as I felt the terrible taste of my puke inside my mouth, my teary eyes shut for a moment, while I tried to recover from vomiting for the millionth time that day. My body was covered in sweat and my hair glued to my face. I felt really bad. I heard the bathroom door open but didn't bother to move my legs, which were against the cold marble floor, as I noticed the footsteps louder and louder. "Jungkook, how are you?" My soft deep voice echoed, while I felt the top of my head being caressed. "YN, I'll be fine in a sec," I mumbled with my cracky voice, as I raised my face and pulled my hair back, feeling the cold hair hitting my warm and probably red skin. "Jungkook, baby, I'm worried about you. You've been like this for 2 days already," Jungkook told me as he watched me getting up and moving to the sink, where I washed my face and teeth. "YN, I'll be fine, Kookie, no need to worry." I calmed him down, looking at him standing behind me through the mirror. He frowned. "Jungkook, I don't know YN, maybe you should see a doctor." "YN, oh no, there's no need for that." Oh, he suddenly stepped further and grabbed my wrist, turning me around so I'd be facing him. His serious look pierced on mine, while he still gripped on my body. "Jungkook, I'm serious, you have to go to the hospital." I looked down and sighed. "Jungkook, baby, you've been throwing up for 2 days straight and you barely eat anything. I can't let you be like this." He cupped my face so I'd look at him again. "Jungkook, promise me you'll go tomorrow?" he asked, and I furrowed my eyes a bit, trying to retaliate. "Jungkook, it's not negotiable, just promise me you'll go." "YN, okay, I promise," I mumbled, looking away, pouting a bit. He smiled slightly and pecked my cheek, before he stepped out of the bathroom, pulling me by his arm. "Jungkook, come on, let's cuddle so you feel better," he said, and I smiled. On the next day, I woke up feeling a bit sick but much better than the day before. I looked beside me on the bed when I felt a cold shiver running down my skin. Jungkook wasn't there anymore, he probably went off to work. Since he wasn't home, I started to think of postponing my appearance on the hospital. I went to the bathroom and sat on the toilet. My eyes widened when I looked at a package of patches inside the cabinet. I wasn't on my period for so long, but I didn't even realize it since I had been under so much work and now my sickness. My heart started to beat fast when I started to pick up and join the pieces. My mind went through a lot of emotions. My brain froze. I quickly ran to the closet and fitted myself on some sweatpants and a hoodie, then going downstairs to grab my keys. I found a piece of paper over the kitchen bench. "Good morning, princess. I had to leave for work but couldn't wake you 'cause it looked like you were finally getting some rest. Don't you dare ditch the doctor's appointment. Love you a lot. Kookie." I smiled, clingy at his note, but the thought of before instantly invaded my mind. I couldn't go to the doctor. I looked at the time. It was 12:56 p.m. I'd slept a lot. I quickly got off the house and walked on the street as fast as I could, going to the car. I drove fast to the drugstore, and had to wait a few minutes and sighed deeply before getting out again and step inside. I walked around the store a bit, while having my hands buried on the pocket of Jungkook's oversized hoodie, and then I finally saw the test. I bit my lip nervously as I waited in the line to pay, looking around as my heart kept beating really fast. I almost lost my mind of despair when my eyes reached for a small baby section behind the counter. All the baby stuff placed there made me even more nervous. I was losing my mind. Cashier. Good morning, miss. I suddenly heard the woman calling me and instantly turned my face to her. She kept smiling widely and I stepped forward, placing the small package over the counter. She looked at it and secretly smiled again. Cashier. Are you okay? She asked when she realized I was really impatient. YN. Yeah. I breathed out really quick as I waited for her to finish her work. She handed me the bag after I paid and I quickly got out. Sitting on my car. Both my hands on the wheel as I kept my eyes forward, still parked outside. I kept there for a few minutes. They glanced at the package on the seat next to mine and sighed. YN. It's fine, YN. Just go home. I spoke to myself, before I turned on the car and drove home. I was standing in front of the bathroom mirror, leaning on the marble bench, attentively looking at my reflection. The white package next to my hand, still waiting to be opened. YN. You have to do this. I spoke again to my reflection and said. YN. You have to do it and everything's fine. It'll be nothing. I kept telling me for a while now. The courage didn't seem to appear. YN. It'll be negative, I'm sure. I sighed and looked down. YN. Come on, YN, just to the test. I suddenly grabbed the small box and opened it, reading the instructions while trembling completely. I sighed before I did it, and the seconds I waited for it to be complete seemed like hours. When it was finally ready, I grabbed it with my eyes shut and took a deep breath before opening them. When I did, I felt my world fall down. My heart stopped. My skin started to sweat and I felt my legs so weak I almost fell back. It was positive. I instantly threw the test on the sink as I felt my eyes getting teary. Stepping back until I reached the wall, I pulled my head back as I bit my lip so hard it bled. I sat down on the marble floor and kept my gaze on the bench in front of me while having my chest running up and down really fast. My phone rung like crazy and I could tell there were 100 messages, but I didn't care. I hugged my knees and buried my face on them as I sobbed out of control. How will I raise a child? How could I be a mom? What would I do? What will Jungkook think? What will happen to her or him? What would my parents think? What about my work and my career? 100 of questions popped on my mind as the tears kept running out of my eyes continuously for a long time. After a while, maybe hours, I heard the front door closing and a familiar voice calling for me. I raised my face and frowned as I looked at my watch. It was 2 p.m. Why was Jungkook home? I couldn't think about it for long since seconds after his figure appeared on the bathroom door. His expression instantly turned to surprised when he found me on the floor, hugging my knees and having red and puffy eyes. Jungkook. What's wrong? He asked as he got to me in a rush and kneeled next to me, placing his hand on the top of my knees. I looked at him sadly as I felt the tears forming again under my eyes. I bit my lip and looked forward, trying to escape his eyes. Jungkook. Did you go to the doctor? Is everything okay? I shook my head and shut my eyes. Jungkook. You didn't go. he asked again, and I shook my head again. Jungkook. 𝚠𝚠, you promised me. I suddenly let another sob again and hide my face on my knees. He became even more worried. At this point he was hurt himself for seeing me like this. Jungkook. Princess, why are you crying? He asked gently as he stroked the back of my head slightly. 𝚠. I'm so sorry Jungkook. I also didn't mean 𝚃𝙸. I'm so scared. I faced him once more as he looked at me in the eyes, with his eyes really big and his eyebrows furrowed. I could tell he was really confused. Jungkook. What are you talking about? Why are you sorry? I analyzed his face for some seconds quietly as I tried to find the best words to tell him. Jungkook. 𝚠, talk to me. 𝚠. Just look at the sink. I quickly told him before downing my face once more, and pierced my look on my hands which placed upon my now crossed legs. He frowned harder, but seconds later, he stood up and stepped to the sink. I watched him as he extended his arm and reached for the small object. Jungkook. What is this? He stuttered as he now held it. His eyes seemed shocked. His hands seemed to tremble a bit as he couldn't take his look out of the two pink lines. Jungkook. Are you pregnant? He faced me this time and I nodded slowly, feeling my eyes completely watery and the pain on my throat forming again. He didn't say anything, still a bit shocked, and I looked down again, covering my face as I sobbed once more. Jungkook. No baby, don't cry. He quickly kneeled in front of me again and cupped my face, making me look up. Jungkook. We're gonna have a baby, you shouldn't be sad, he told me with a slight smile on his face. His eyes seemed so full of joy now, they shined like I'd never seen before. 𝚠. Why you're not mad? Jungkook. Of course not baby, I've always wanted to be a father, you know that. I gulped as I looked at him, a bit shocked by his reaction. Jungkook. And you're the love of my life 𝚠. Who else would I want to have a baby with besides you? He caressed my cheek and I slightly smiled too. Before I remembered all the thoughts that had been passing through my mind for the past hours. 𝚠. How are we supposed to raise a child Jungkook? Jungkook. We have everything in our favor baby. I've actually thought about it before. 𝚠. You had? I quickly asked, surprised. Jungkook. Yeah. He shyly replied. Jungkook. I just didn't tell you cause I knew you haven't, and I didn't know if it would have scared you away. 𝚠. It surely would. He chuckled a bit. 𝚠. I'm terrified right now. I mean, I have been sitting here for hours now. Jungkook. Really? He asked, surprised, and I nodded. Jungkook. Don't be. We'll keep up with it. You'll be an amazing mother, he said, while putting my hair behind my ear. I smiled. Jungkook. Besides, our kid will be so smart like his dad, we won't have problems of raising him. I chuckled. 𝚠. Yeah sure. Jungkook. I'm serious 𝚠. Having your beauty in my brain, it's perfection. I chuckled again and he smiled, happy I was now calmer and not so scared anymore. Jungkook. I love you so much 𝚠. I'm so lucky I have you with me. 𝚠. I love you too baby, I told him as I caressed his cheek. He kissed my lips and I cupped his face gently. Jungkook lifted 𝚠 and he made her sit on the table, near the bathroom basin, and he kissed her again. He put 𝚤𝚤's hands on the back of his neck and he made 𝚤𝚤 to embrace him. Jungkook. 𝚤𝚤, I love you and I want to 𝚤4K3 love with you. 𝚤𝚤. You really want to FCK right now? Jungkook. Not FCK 𝚤𝚤, 𝚤4K love. He pout and I giggle to his reaction. Jungkook carried 𝚤𝚤 and they went outside the bathroom and he lay her down on the bed. Jungkook removed 𝚤𝚤's clothes without breaking KSS. 𝚤𝚤 gently pushed him and her hands touched Jungkook's gentle face, until it went down to his collar, and she started to unbutton his clothes and his upper muscular body became exposed to her. Jungkook sat down and made her sit on his 14p and held him. He pulled her and kissed her lips. Jungkook. 𝚤𝚤, you are so beautiful. He whispered in her ear that made her smile. 𝚤𝚤 just continued to kiss Jungkook's lips. Jungkook felt like he was going crazy because of 𝚤𝚤. He closed his eyes because of the ple4 that he was receiving from her, until he felt that he was already in her. They made love for hours until dawn. They were breathing heavily and held each other tight.